We're live. Hello, everyone. This is another podcast video. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, join me again in this trying to find that strain of thought is a random Skype order. Second.
Hi there, I'm the second opinion, and from a critic first and a fan second, it's time to have some fun here. Or something.
Or something.
Or something!
All right. Next up, Jen.
I may be first, I may be last, I may be deaf in one ear and having a blossoming ramen addiction. Send help! But I am first and always Jen. Hello, everybody.
Aww.
Hello, Jen.
Hi, Jen.
Did I say I was blind in one ear or deaf in one ear? I don't even.
I think it was blind. You think it was blind? You said it accidentally.
And apparently I don't know words. It's a Monday. What do you want, folks?
Words.
Words. I know good. I know do good with words. Apparently.
All right. And then next up, Carlos.
Hello there. This is the guy that was formerly known as Genova Brony here, Gunmetal Gator, here to give you any and all answers to anything trading card game related. That's as long as it's not like an intensive biography about the meta of Yu-Gi-Oh, because that is always going to be accessible of everlasting negativity and hand traps causing you to deck out or lose in turn one. So yeah.
He's got card games on the brain as usual.
Well, there are worse things to have on your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Basically, like some people like not digging like certain shows or anything like that.
Ah. But yeah, Monday, da 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 da.
Sunday,
All right.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday.
All right. I guess who wants to go first with what they've been up to?
I can go real quick. Let's rephrase that. Methinks I may be deaf in one ear. My ear is really weird. I don't know. My ear feels weird, and a blossoming potential ramen addiction. Again, send help. By help, I mean more ramen, please. But anyway, discovering some local boba tea and ramen spots around this lovely, lovely city of Cincinnati. Found out there was a boba tea place 5 minutes from my house. Weird. And also, as for what I'm watching, just finished season 1 of Centaur World. Man, it took me months to do it, but I'm finally doing it, and will be progressing season 2 soon. And my only review of this is what kind of crack is it on, and not sure if I should go track down the dealer.
Yeah. It seems like we all had a string of unique thoughts about that, and that is, yeah, your own, while in no way contradicting the kind of thoughts you would have about Centaur World.
I've heard it. I do think it is so entertaining, and how refreshing of how, I guess, I don't know, self-aware that it is. And you could definitely tell. I was told in the beginning, like, yeah, this was written by a bunch of theater geeks. And I'm like, I was watching too. I'm like, oh yeah, definitely. I can tell what kind of people wrote this. So, but one thing that's also really fun about Centaur World is, as I've been telling everyone about the music, is that these are songs that are like, dude, you don't have to go that hard for these, but yet they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, Wallawake singer is amazing, and I kept thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, you're so amazing, but at the same time, like, you're wasting your talent. or maybe it's one of those people like, I've already done Broadway. Let's kind of like do something different for this. I've done Broadway. I've done the Met. I've sang all across the world. Let's do something different.
Yeah.
Who knows? By the way, cannot wait to watch the next season two of Centaur World, and just saw the introduction of the Nowhere King, and now I'm getting kind of hooked. So I'm like, okay, where's this gonna go?
We're definitely interested to hear your thoughts next time.
Yes, I will make sure by the next one season Centaur World will be wrapped up. Another good thing about it is that it's really easy to binge, honestly. If it's just 2 seasons, and it was just like 10 episodes the first season, I don't know how many are in the second, but if it's just 2 seasons, you could probably binge that in a day. So easy binge. That's always good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Centaur World is quite enjoyable. I mean, like, seriously. I mean, my favorite character from, like, Centaur World literally was, like, Wama Wink, or as I affectionately call her, Mama Wink.
That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. She's such the mom, She's such the mom, pretty much.
Yes.
My character that's slowly hooking me is Water Baby.
Her mentor
Yes.
has quite the
and it's also funny. It's also really funny. It's like there's different takes on centaurs. I mean, like there's different takes on centaurs. I mean, you have like Wama Wink, who's like a mix of a centaur and a sheep. You have
actually, is it an alpaca or a llama?
Oh, no, she's an alpaca.
Right.
Oh, you're right. I saw like the wool and I thought sheep, but I'm like, wait a minute, they're not the only ones with wool. Llamas, of course.
Well, I mean,
you think so? I don't know. For some reason, I thought sheep because of how curly it was. I think of llamas with hats, honestly. Carl. Carl, what did you do?
Well, as you see, I basically filled the Hudson River here with like a bunch of like entrails from like my meat factory here.
Filled a bunch of people, Carl.
It's not really that bad.
Oh man, it's so funny. It shouldn't be funny, but yet it is.
Speaking
of
bad,
it's dark humor.
Speaking of bad, though, I'm just curious. Hey, Jen, what did you think of Llama Link's her specific interest in mermen?
Oh, her interest in mermen, and especially the one just like, yeah, I want to draw you, and she draws it like kind of be shown in anime style, and it's one of those like when the letters WTF do not apply. It applies into the what crack is this show on, and you don't know if you want it or not. I thought it was quite amusing. Another one that was really funny was I think it was episode 6 or 7, the one where they have all the cats.
Oh yeah, cat tars.
Cat tars. And I had to pause this. It was like, oh my gosh, this is so written by theater people. They are clearly lampooning cats.
Yes.
And somebody's seen the cat movie. Somebody's seen the live action Cats movie. Mm-hmm. And you just gotta pardon my words, you just had to take a shot at it, or just had to take a little bit of a dump on it. So I had to pause for a second. They're like, oh, really? And then go back into it and go back into like, this is. It's like we're making fun of cats. We're making fun of cats. Look at us. We're making fun of cats. Like, I get it. You're making fun of cats. It's one of those like kind of like groan-worthy moments, but still you're gonna get a little bit of a giggle every now and then.
Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, I almost think like, yeah, in spite of that, they were, I mean, the Cats movie, granted, made Cats relevant again, but it seemed like they were, yeah, putting as much of a nod towards the original show as anything else.
Yeah, that's the thing with Cats, and now Cats. I've seen the actual theater production of Cats, and that is an experience. That is an experience. It's amazing. I mean, it's one of those like turn your brain off and enjoy it kind of things. It's fantastic. Like the music is amazing. You need talent in that show. You need to sing high energy. You need to dance high energy.
Seems like, yeah, it's built around its ability to play the audience.
Totally.
Yeah, from what I understand, because Cats was before my time and all that, and it was taken off Broadway.
Yeah.
But I think from what I've seen, what really made it popular wasn't necessarily the story or anything like that, but like just the presentation, like the set design, the costume, the like musical elements. It was sort of like the first modern like Broadway show.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like how what the Lion King would later do too, where it's just like it's a very big experience, not just like a standard play.
Exactly. And I like what you said that Lion King would do kind of similar later. And yeah, Cats was like, I saw Cats the first time when I was like, oh man, I think I was 9 or 10 years old. And yeah, it's an experience. It's an absolute experience. And
Seems
like
it was kind of like not really built around a story, just like, yeah, built around dance and show and just, yeah.
The story is kind of simple, but kind of not. It's kind of simple. It's kind of not. But the whole story is just a bunch of cats get together for something called the Jellicle Ball, and they make old Deuteronomy, which is like the greatest name for a freaking cat of all time. It's a great, like, anybody who names her cat Deuteronomy. I mean, like, there you go. You must be awesome at some point. Or better yet, you name your cat Mephistopheles? Really?
Mephistopheles?
There's a cat in there there's a cat in there named Mephistopheles, or I should say Magical Mr. Mephistopheles. But yeah, Deuteronomy, who's like the leader of the Jellicle Cats, chooses a cat to go to the Heaviside Layer, aka heaven. And all the cats have to, like, I don't know, sing, dance, do whatever to, I guess, appeal to Deuteronomy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just spectacle after spectacle after spectacle after spectacle. But it's wonderful. But it's all wonderful every time. I highly recommend watch the theater version. I would recommend, like, track down the theater version, or for some reason, if it's ever playing in your town or whatever, see it live. That's the best, because your ears will get blasted by the music.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it seems like it was meant to be seen live.
Totally. It was absolutely meant to be seen live. There's also like a recorded version of it. I don't know if it's VHS or whatever. Look at me telling people my age. But if you could track down somehow the theatrical version of it, that's a good one too. The live action one they did with all them stars. Proceed.
No!
I would, proceed at your own risk. But I'm not paying for your therapy. For all case of purposes, Taylor Swift did a pretty good job as Bomb Ballerina. That's another good name for a cat. Bomb Ballerina. And also, it's really kind of cool. No, there's a little bit of a spoiler. I'm not going to say it. But yeah, I would say definitely find the theatrical version. If you can see it live. Watch the live action one at your own risk. And second, since you are a critic first and a fan second, right? Did I get it right?
That is right.
Yes.
Bravo.
Yeah. there's hope for me yet in these old brains. But second, I would say, since you are a critic first and a fan second, I would suggest you watch it. Because I would be, because you know what, I've seen critics rip it apart and everything. And I'd love to see what your opinion would be.
Take the cat's challenge, huh?
Yes, take the cat's challenge. Watch it with Dave, you must.
That's a good suggestion.
Yes,
But honestly, I think like before
love to hear your thoughts on it.
I think like before I saw the actual movie, I would want to see what Cats is supposed to be first, like see that direct to DVD recording of the Broadway show that they added special effects to. And
Agreed. Watch that first, and then you will see it as it was intended, and you will see it as it was meant to be. And then if you want to, and then like I said, proceed at your own risk watching the live action one, and you'll see what was done to it. You'll see in its purest form, and then what was done to it.
Yeah, I mean, I can respect Brad Jones' take that it at least has ambition. It was an attempt to go out on a limb and accomplish something. I feel like we might have been a little too quick to jump on the why can I never remember this guy's name? The jump on the bandwagon of hating what's his name who directed this and a couple of other movies that the Oscars actually liked.
Oh, shoot, I don't even know who directed it. I forgot.
It was Tom Hooper. Okay, that's it. Yeah, he directed The King's Speech, and he won the Oscar, and this has now become a great opportunity to say, the King's Speech director, it turns out we were letting him off the hook too easy. All that stuff we thought was style was just him sucking. I feel like that's a hot take and a half, but all the same, I mean, if he was kind of a jackass about how he treated the people making it, and it resulted in a very misplaced vision, like, I mean, he probably deserves some pushback. I'm not sure I want to flat out stand up for the guy.
I will give him credit this, because when I was seeing the previews, my jaw dropped at how much star power was in this. It just blew my mind. I was like, what? How? Who, what, how, when, where, how in the world did you get all these stars to come on board to this? How in the world? And I'll admit it made me curious. It's like, what can all these stars do in this?
We're all gonna win Oscars. We're gonna revolutionize the way this old show is done. It's going to be awesome.
We're like, what could go wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this is a Broadway show. It's not a film. The people.
Well, I mean, like
Tonys. There's a difference between Tony and Oscar. There are two different. They are kindred cousins, but two different people.
Honestly, I would have maybe liked to see Spielberg's animated version, just like, okay, a style over substance show. All right, well, let's dig into how stylish we can get with animation. I could have gone for that.
Now,
or even if it's not even
if it were an animated Cats, I bet that's next on the list. I bet that's next on the list. If it's an animated Cats, you may get away with that.
I mean, if it's animated Cats, that also is like maybe is less of a full feature film and maybe like a 40-minute special that
could be
basically is like compresses the story, so it's like more stylized in its telling and not just sort of like a direct. And I feel that possibly, well, at least would work better than the actual feature film.
I have to agree with you. I have to agree with you. That's probably the next in the pipe somewhere. Someone's gonna be like, someone probably saw the thing and they're like, you know what, this should have been animated. Let me start work on this.
Speaking of Spielberg, that reminds me of one comment I remember hearing when he was like walking through DreamWorks, right around like when they're making like or starting work. It was like starting work around when they're doing like a bad guys.
Yeah.
And like Spielberg was like, you guys should really do like an adult targeted animated film. It's like, yeah, Spielberg, I think you're right. That would be, imagine like just DreamWorks doing like a rated R like
Oh my.
animated film.
Wow. You got me on that one. I'll be like, you know what? Good luck. Let's see what you do. I would me personally, I'd probably be like, hey, Don Bluth, where are you? I'd be like, hey, Don Bluth, I got an idea.
I think he's currently trying to reboot his Dragon Lair thing.
I got an idea.
Dragon Lair.
Two entities. If somebody makes this happen, I am not sure I would be damned to the ninth section of animation hell for this, but I'd be like, okay, 2 ideas: Cats and Watership Down. What can you do with that?
What can you do with that?
I feel like I'd be damned to the ninth circle of animation hell or something.
Wait. What about Watership Down? What about Watership Down?
I wonder somebody out there, if some mad maybe amazing genius would be like, saw the Cats live action movie, it was like, I can do better than this, and decided and then watched the movie Watership Down afterwards, or I just watched a review of like Secret of NIMH, and fantastic. And anyway, but and I was like, if they watched Watership Down, Secret of NIMH, and then the theatrical Cats, and I was like, that's it, I got it. I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make Cats, but I'm gonna make it with the animation with the animation style of Secret of NIMH, and the darkness of Watership Down.
Boy. Darkness of Watership Down. You'd have to lean real into that heavy side layer stuff.
Well, I dare somebody to do it. You hear that, Internet? I double dog dare somebody to do that. Now,
all right. With that said, I guess, Carlos, you ready to say what you've been up to?
I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. Bad timing to try to switch to him.
Oops. I guess we're two out of 4 are muted. Half of us are muted.
Yeah. What I've been up to, but I might as well wait until until at least half the group is back.
Yeah.
I gotta said I'll wait, but yeah, I guess. I must have just been up to like TrotCon is what I went to.
How was that?
Good, but like it's sort of weird to sort of go by myself this time. Last time was good just because it was sort of like a first time experience thing, sort of thing. Well, at least TrotCon, but yeah, it's like the next time I go to con, I'm not probably going unless I'm going with someone. That makes sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I apologize. I wish I could have gone but I got so distracted. I kind of forgot about TrotCon and finances aren't the best this time of year.
So apparently it is doing well because apparently they broke the record they have from past year.
Excellent.
Let's see. Let me go up the news thing. Info desk or no announcements. That's what it'd be under. Yeah, they had 1,344 people.
Wow.
It was so weird because it reminded us how freaking stupidly big Candlelight Gardens was. Because I remember that being like near 2,000.
Oh yeah, Candlelight Gardens. My first time ever cosplaying as an MLP character. I tried to do Silver Spoon, but I had no diamond tiara. That would have.
Silver Spoon, yeah, like not even diamond tiara, but Silver Spoon. That's an interesting choice.
Right. It was actually the first kind of costume I actually made, but the first time I tried it, I was really curious. I was like, why don't I try Silver Spoon with it? And I dressed it as her with the outfit, and I was like, it's all right. But then I thought, you know what? I look better in a darker haired wig. And then I thought Octavia, and then it went off from there.
Mm.
All right, but
Yeah.
all right, seconds back.
I don't know,
Carlos,
2,000 people, and truck comes like 1,000.
I'm trying to remember. I think it was around 2,000, but like that was. Remember, it was stupidly crowded. It was frankly overcrowded.
Oh yeah.
Carlos, you back?
Yeah.
You want to do what you've been up to first? Or you want me to go first?
Okay, I'll mention what I've been doing. So, recently I've for like Vanguard Zero, like the mobile app game, I've decided like during like the birthday half of my month to like actually try to rank like in the top 24 players of like the global server to like try to get a free invite for the Summer Circuit Championship this coming October. Could be a nice, interesting chance for me to get some free gems for like that mobile app game. It's kind of been like a bit of like a downward slope, like less people getting involved with it and such, over declining quality services and such, you know. And so it's just really is like stuff like that needs to be like done in order to like make it like more inviting for people who might not have finances and such, or how it makes people feel bored in the fact that like we really have to spam so much of like this gacha just to get multiple copies of specific of the highest rare card just to be able to use it. Great. It's like it just feels like that bad right now.
Right.
Like, and I'm still in it because I've been playing it since the very beginning.
I hate to be the cynical one, but that sort of is the point. They want to pressure you to. They want to put the pressure on to buy stuff.
No, I get you. Like, I mean, there's still a lot of people like making tournaments and such, but it's just things like that occur. Aside from that, I've currently been like watching like the new anime for like the summer season. Aside from like the sequels to like such classic hits such as like Overlord season 4, and then we also have the 9-year-long return of the greatest reverse isekai possible, being the Devils of the Part-Timer season 2. The one in which the devil works at McDonald's.
The devil works at McDonald's.
So the devil wears Prada is a lie?
Yeah.
You can wear Prada and work at McDonald's.
Oh,
Sure.
That reminds me of.
Do you want to get French fry grease all over them expensive Prada loafers or Prada something? I wouldn't want to get French fry oil all over my Prada loafers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of like long, I just want to. Speaking of like long series coming back, you reminded me of something I forgot to bring up in the group. Is I've seen a trailer clip from like the new Trigun that's coming back. I have some bad news though.
Oh no.
It's one word or technically one abbreviation. CGI.
Really?
It's a CGI anime.
Attack on Titan's kind of doing that, and
it's from the only plus side that might save it is actually done by like the team that did like Beastars.
Mappo. Wait a minute, Mappo. Didn't they do the Berserk one?
I think maybe that too, which is unfortunate.
Oh God. Oh gosh, the Berserk one was such a missed opportunity. Yeah.
All right. All right. Sorry to distract everything with bad news. Back to you, Carlos.
No problem. Just hold on.
All
You
right.
can continue talking a bit about what's been going on with you right now. Hold on.
All right. I guess while that's holding on, I was sort of going on this before, but yeah, I went to like TrotCon and had some fun. Also went to the Columbus Zoo during one day just because the panels weren't necessarily speaking to me during then. And I was like, oh, I meant to go to the Columbus Zoo, but last time I went to TrotCon, which is a December one, it's like, yeah, there's not much to do in a zoo during winter. There's some light display now, but it's like, yeah, no.
Columbus is.
So yeah.
Have you ever been to Columbus before?
The Columbus Zoo, no, which is like, yeah, I basically did a Cliff Note thing trying to see everything within like 4-hour spectrum.
Gotcha. Columbus is really kind of quirky when you get into it. I always call it like Columbus, like the quirky kind of cousin to Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm. But like I was saying, like I was comparing Cincinnati Heroes, like trying to find some faux places because I tried some of that up in Columbus too. Like there's so much more faux and ramen, but specifically faux like up in Columbus. It's like let's just have a very large Vietnamese community around that area.
Interesting. I never knew that about Columbus.
Because not just like, yeah, because I look around Cincinnati, there's a few pieces that have faux, like there is faux dedicated places, but like a lot of the places that have faux, it's basically is an Asian restaurant that offers as a meal, something like that. And there's like, in terms of like dedicated faux restaurants, like, oh, there's a surprising amount in Columbus. But anyway, get back to the TrotCon. It's like, yeah, I just went there for, actually stay at the hotel, which is very convenient compared to last time. But yeah, I just went to a few panels and all that. Like the first thing I actually got, let me pull it up from the convention thing. Yeah, the first thing I got at a My Little Pony convention is I'm posting in a chat. Is not a pony thing.
That's no pony.
Yeah, because I seen this like wood carving like statue like stand for like ribbon. It's like, oh, I just love that so much. It was like right when I was about to do like a Wreath playthrough and like bonus mode on Ratchet and Clank. I forget what it's called. It's like the new game plus mode for that. The Ratchet and Clank games have. So it's like, oh, that was good timing, and I remember how much I just love that character, so I just got that. And then also like funny thing I got like when I was at I actually did check out the after hours like vendor hall.
Okay, what was that like?
Lots of dakas or dakimaras or whatever body pillow stuff. But I got like a pin.
Dakimakarus?
Yeah. I can never say it right. But like I got like a pin of like this emoji. Let me see. There it is.
Bunch of body pillows.
I got like a pin of this emoji. I was like, okay, this is funny.
Did you actually go into like the artist alley when it was 18 and up?
Yeah, that's where I found that.
Oh, that's where you found that. Okay. I thought you said they did a panel, but they had a. Did they have an 18 and up panel?
There were a few like some. They're like a lot of them were more like drinking and joke themed.
That's what 18 and up panels are.
Yeah, because you could tell it's drinking theme if it's like 21 and up, and then I think.
Oh, that's right.
Because they had like 21 up ones, and like they also had like 18 and up ones. Then they also had laser tag late at night too, which I didn't take part in, which I sort of do regret.
Laser tag, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, that was a fun little.
Yeah, laser tag can be really fun, and I didn't know this, but yeah, there are laser tag leagues. It's like, yeah, in the world of stuff you didn't know was a thing. If you go down the laser tag rabbit hole, apparently there are trophies aplenty and middle-aged men running around waving laser tag guns accurately and more quick than they've ever done just about anything in their lives. That's like so second nature.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
Actually,
Like
I believe it because I know like someone just recently in Cincinnati set up like a Nerf um like sort of like laser tag arena, but it's like a Nerf guns and all that. Um, it's becoming more popular, which I actually do want to check out that place at some point. But it's like, yeah, that's something that's more of a group thing to go to.
Yeah, like I finally decided to ask we have Laser Storm around here, and I finally decided to ask the gal behind the desk about all the trophies lining up wall to wall, and the one guy's name that was everywhere, and apparently, the son of the guy who owns the Laser Storm place just decided to, I guess, become its best mascot. He and his buddies are just, traveling all over this section of the country, racking up points upon points and just like achieving national rankings in the sport of laser tag. I'm not gonna lie, it sounds like a really cool thing, thing to secretly be a part of. Just, by the way, I'm one of the deadliest laser tag people in the countries.
Oh.
Yeah, but actually, it reminds me, like you and Day also went like to Orlando with your like karate thing since last time, right?
Yeah, which is another cool secret thing to be a part of. Like,
cool.
I mean, if you have cool people, at least. But we just got back from that, and there were plenty of gold and silver medals going around. There's an asterisk next to mine. I got 3 medals in 3 events, but I guess first year back from the pandemic, my the Tai Chi competitions are like sumo wrestling, and there's the uber balanced first person to take a step loses. There's the actual sumo wrestling, just like throw each other out of the ring or down on the ground, and then there's whatchamacallit, the one in between that, which is sort of like you're allowed to take fencing steps, no crossing your feet or stumbling off balance or going to the side, but fencing steps are actual steps. But yeah, that one, me and my friend from the same school were the only ones that entered, and so I got him there, but gold medal for beating one guy. And the second one, they had a pretty decent turnout in my weight class, and because I was half a pound above the weight class limit, decided to pull me down a weight class and have me take on the only guy in that weight class, while the one I was supposed to be in had a grand old slam bang, including missing what would have been my 4th match with the best guy I've ever seen show up at this thing. So
wow,
I smell a conspiracy. That was the no steps one, which is the only one that other guy ever enters. And then the last one was the straight up sumo wrestling, and my friend and I made it to the finals again, and we had other people to take on this time, but this time he got me in the finals. They changed the rules and he adjusted better, so I'll just have to be working on payback there.
You must like train.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, heck, it felt like just one more match between me and him because, we have weekly Tai Chi classes, and that's how we train, by taking each other on.
Makes sense.
All the time. And Day having her big first one in this league, at least, she did pretty well too. It was there was some getting used to it involved. I felt like some of her competitors just knew how to go at like crazy angles, like, oh, you're overpowering me, but what if I go down here? And that's a blind spot, isn't it? Really. So go around there. But
nice.
But what was I gonna say? But yeah, she got a couple of medals too, and then we got to stay in Florida a while, and yeah, ended up being a bad idea to try to drive home that night with the state everyone was in. So we stayed an extra night, checked out that kind of pre-Disney World boardwalk with, just free to get into, but yeah, lots of stuff you can buy, and tried Voodoo Donuts, which glad we did. That was some fun stuff.
Ooh, I've heard such great things about Voodoo Donuts. Are they delicious?
They were pretty, I mean, I don't know what somebody out of Food Wars, the donut connoisseur, would say about their ingredients, but the way they get creative is definitely a level up. My favorite was the, what was it called? Memphis Massacre, which was like one of those apple fritters drizzled all over with, chocolate and caramel and peanut butter and striped with like sweet peanut butter. And I mean, it was, and chocolate chips, and I was in a happy place there. But
I've heard one of their donuts have bacon on it.
Oh yeah, that almost seems like an obligatory one with what they're coming up with. I got to get the one that has that food that's a meme.
Totally.
And boy, that was a good time. Oh, and yeah, our friend who has been trying to we had another friend come to this with us who used to do these, but yeah, she has been working through stuff in life, falling on hard times and all that, and pandemic, so she hasn't gotten to Tai Chi for a while, but turns out she's still got it. She handled this one competitor in her weight class like a baby, and then took on Day as well. And I mean, Day is a truckload of Taekwondo fury. That was her martial arts, so she brought the pressure, but his friend is more experienced, and I had to take off my hat I don't wear to her, because she handled Day all right as well. And I mean, seems like she might have actually leveled up since the last time I saw her go at it. So
wow.
Yeah, so I'm happy for her, at least, especially since during the drive down there, she came with us. We pooled our resources to make it as cheap as possible, and she very much was essential to making that drive trip, because I cannot drive to Orlando and back in one go.
Oh, no, not from Pittsburgh to Orlando. That's just brutal.
Yeah. I was actually able to handle the bulk of it on the way there. I don't know what adrenaline hit me, but it was all right. On the way back, I was like, okay, I'm starting to fade. I'd already tagged in. Her turn was done, but my turn, it was like, okay, I have a half hour to go, but I mean, the fading is not just going to happen, it's clawing at me. If this gets too much worse, I'm going to have to pull over. It was a struggle to the finish.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. How long would that drive take?
It was, the GPS said 14 and a half hours, and
ouch.
She and I are pretty experienced highway drivers. We usually shave something off that, but stops for lunch and gas and bathroom and all that. There were enough of those to put that time back on, so it's a full day and then some. But otherwise, stuff we've been up to, we getting caught up on the Netflix shows just in time for that big announcement of all the new Marvel releases, Daredevil, Born Again, and the Marvels. Apparently Jessica Jones and Luke Cage are going to be in something called Echo or whatever. There's plans for them too. So Day and I are finally getting caught up on that last of the Defenders one, Iron Fist.
Oh.
And
the horror stories that will follow.
I think I did establish in the last podcast that we skipped season 1.
So talking about the moderate season.
Yeah, season 2. Honestly, so far season 2 is good enough so that I'm wondering if one colored it a bit, like, in people's perspective. I mean, it's, you know, I have to admit I'm into it.
Which one is this?
Iron Fist season 2.
Iron Fist season 2, yeah.
Oh, Iron Fist.
And, yeah, what can I say? It just, well, I mean, yeah, Walker / Mary. I was skeptical on her at first. I'm like, okay, I know what this is. You, like, wanted to make this character, and you got one of those, 2-bit, like, plays the nice girl on a sitcom actresses, and, like, okay, now, you're going to have to act for this role. Can you do that? And then, yeah, she plays the nice girl, and then the split personality is, oh, now I'm serious and deadpan, and but you know what? No, she's kind of winning me over. I think that, yeah, I'm kind of into how she can, like, you spend enough time with her as one, and when she switches back to the other, it is a little bit of a, like, oh, yeah, I forgot that was a little bit of a different flavor, and I mean, but more than anything, though, what's winning me over is that, like, Walker is honestly kind of cool. Like, I wasn't sure I was going to buy her as that, but I'm like, okay, I think you won me over.
Hey.
You got some chops.
Nice.
And, yeah, I mean, the action's cool. Like, Danny's stuff with, Davos, it honestly isn't bad. I mean, I feel like this was one of those times where, yeah, people were looking for something to blame and took it out on the totally acceptable main character. But, yeah, I mean, in truth, I'm not into his stuff. I mean, I know that Colleen and Misty Knight have a lot of chemistry, so it's easy to give them all the credit. But, I mean, I like, Danny, you, like, I'm sure they do him no favors by having people talk about how nice he is and having him be nice. But I mean, like, a guy who values the Zen way of life and is, you know, even when he's mad, will say out loud, like, okay, no, I'll to be honest, this hurts, but I mean, I'm trying to play this right here. Like, you know, I can believe somebody would do that in the way he's doing it. It's not a stretch, or it's not hard to roll with, or even unfun. And I kind of like this. Like Iron Fist, I will say what puts it apart is that it's not as deep or as weighty as the other ones. But I mean, even this stuff with this Ward character, who I at least bothered to read up, was yeah, a thing in season 1. He and his sister were Danny's childhood friends, who, when he comes back, well, he's like, hey, I'm back. They're like, oh, he's back. That guy who owns 51% of the company that we have our lives deeply tied to.
Right.
If he's alive. Like, and yeah, like, honestly, I guess the thing with his sister, I will say at the halfway point, they're clearly playing her as the half of the villain duo who is, like, fighting and who is going to be redeemed, who has all the internal conflict that is going to result in some kind of tension, or redemption, rather. I think they're playing that kind of clunky, like how her anger at her brother feels kind of, or not even, the anger's fine. The parts where, like, how it keeps her apart from her, or how, like, these discussions between them have to end in the matter unresolved. It feels kind of obligatory and even forced with what they make the progression of things said to each other to get to that point. Like, But, like, you know what? If it keeps going on the arc it's at, I mean, like I said, some things are clunky. Like I said, it's that same old hero gets the thing that's special about him stolen, so he has to prove that he deserves to be the hero and that he is special without it. But, yeah, or that even when facing it. But I mean, if it keeps going at this rate, I'm going to say thumbs up. I think that, yeah, it was, I would have had fun watching this and seeing where it went.
Nice.
And don't know if there's anything else interesting. I did show Day Blazing Saddles. So,
What'd you think of it?
she thought it was funny enough. She had a good time with it, not a great time. She was not built for fart jokes, so the scene with the beans around the campfire, she was holding her ears and looking away.
Oh, I don't blame her there.
Yeah. I mean, Blazing Saddles, for as much as, like, it, yeah, has its defense and, like, this, the age of, rethinking what we're comfortable with. Yeah, like, and as much as Blazing Saddles has that argument, like, okay, it's not racist, it's about racism, and yeah, and for that matter, like, looking at it all these years later, I think the feel-good stuff about, like, these characters, yeah, Looney Tunesing their way to victory and, yeah, camaraderie and all that, like, yeah, this time that almost stuck with me more than the comedy, but, yeah, I think Blazing Saddles might be guilty of being ever so slightly 80s homophobic.
Ah.
The casual slights it tosses out. I mean, like, it, if I had to, guess, I would have said that, yeah, if you'd asked Mel Brooks at the time, for example, I would have said, like, okay, he, yeah, clearly has no problem with anyone. He just, yeah, thinks they're, yeah, silly and worthy of mockery. Some little, like, the yeah, like, heck, the very first scene is when they start singing Camptown Ladies to show the railroad workers what a real white man's song is like. The what's his name cowboy joins in. Hey, bang pants, what the heck is wrong with you? I didn't pay you to jump around like a bunch of F words and, like, but yeah. It's
humor for the time, I guess.
Yeah, casual slights. So yeah, we're some stuff that, yeah, probably is rightly being rethought now, but yeah, it's still hard not to like Blazing Saddles on some level.
Right.
Day was good with it. I think she might have actually liked some other Mel Brooks movies better. I don't know, Spaceballs more her thing, or something like that.
Probably.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think that's the bulk of what we've been up to. Going on about that. Still working on Magic, and Day is still the crazy Magic deck builder.
Ooh. Getting back into card games. Nice. Or getting her into it.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got. Stuff I want to see, get back to getting into, but till then.
Yeah. So for me, like, since I kind of have to, like, drop out of the conversation for a bit, I kind of for, like, on the media front of what I've seen recently, for, like, the children's anime that we all grew up watching with, we finally get to, like, Ghost Game's final Digievolution for the Ultimate status for the bunny and, like, in Ghost Game, from, like, Simba and Goramon going over to becoming Lemortmon, which, if you don't know what Lemort means, it means death in French.
Oh yeah, Lemort.
Lemortmon.
Lemortmon.
They would.
And this specific episode of Digimon, we basically have an entire old-fashioned town in which the
Did he drop out or did I?
I think he's not mute, but I can't hear him.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I think he did drop out. Oh no!
Mm-hmm. Oh dear.
Oh dear, Gator, come back!
Gator, come back. You can put it all on me. I was wrong.
Perfect. You can put it on the laptop. No. That's funny. Can't back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
And he's officially dropped.
Oh, no. Oh, there he goes. The Gator's. He's gone. Oh, I gotta learn how to face it.
I'm all alone. There's no Gator here beside me.
Along with that, with the Hall & Oates theme. Yeah. Thousand people for TrotCon. I guess I'm still haunted by the ghosts of BronyCon. So.
Yeah, TrotCon was very different from experience because, like I said, it's very smaller panels. And like so, that's what I said. It's sort of like it's a weird in between where it's maybe not necessarily big enough to get like a convention center space, but at the same time, it's getting way too big for like a hotel.
It's starting to grow to, I guess, outgrow its venue, but they got they can get the crowd. They could probably get the crowd, but they need the capital. They need the capital to afford that, and also if you want to get more people, you need more industry guests.
And they actually had Andrew Libman this time.
Yep, I did see on Twitter they got her. I saw on Twitter that she was coming there. I was like, hey, cool. Sometimes I wonder if that's more for just like the fan, for like the fan communities and such.
Connection issue here.
Gator's back!
He returns! Oh, crikey, we've discovered the return of the Gator!
So, quick question. What line was I at when I was talking before it suddenly stopped?
We have no idea.
Just getting into your Digimon description.
Yeah, about Lemortmon. Did I at least talk about like
Lemortmon?
Yeah, so basically like it's basically like a weird transition. So basically Big Fuzzy Rabbit Starter turns into like a gentlemanly like King Kazuma. But then for his ultimate form, he becomes like a winged feral beast of destruction, wanting to rip and tear as much as humanly possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it goes crazy with the evolution here. Like the fact that he can't even control himself as he's nearly about to like beat Manticoremon to death until like Ruli and another Digimon essentially say to him to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like which people have been inferring like maybe this could be a possible other Digidestin actually has to deal with like an uncontrollable Digimon, not just the leader.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's pretty it's pretty nice, but then aside from that, nothing really notable happens with Pokemon, unfortunately. And then Yu-Gi-Oh! Just recently just got uploaded today, so I wouldn't know what's happening except for like just more slice of life alien investigation right now, trying to lead up to a plot, so nothing major yet. And I guess that's really it. Aside from that, I've been watching like an old favorite card game anime of mine, but in English sub, that being Future Card Buddy Fight. Which that was a series done by Bushiroad, the same people who do Vanguard, which had the unfortunate issue of like its card game not having the best reputation just because of its name.
Oh.
Because who in their right mind would play a card game named Buddy Fight?
Taken.
Yeah, it is really it's really quite an interesting thing. So it's just yeah, like nothing much except for like in the sub except for oh yeah, the English people were like, oh hey, let's censor certain monsters genders and such and have them be portrayed as male. And I'm like,
Okay.
excuse me, what? No, like, okay, first example, a red dragon that looks like a guy, like when I was originally watching it dubbed, was actually a woman in the sub, and I'm like, okay.
Sounds like Zoisite in the original Sailor Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but then here's the bigger one. In the dub, there was like a gay dragon guy, like going over, like being buddy with like the main character's dragon buddy.
And then of course you had to dub it as a woman.
The sub is a trans woman.
Wow, progressive.
Yeah, so Buddy Fight is one of those rare shows that has a trans woman in it.
Okay, God.
Like there for a card game anime.
Also, she had been dead 3 times, so I don't know how she's not cast.
Yay!
Yeah, so right now, like, so yeah, that's really all I've been doing recently.
Nice.
Yeah. Well,
I guess with that said, we can move on to the news thing, which there ain't really much news stuff. Like I said, but just some quick news stories. And I already, like I said, I went over what I've been up to, which is mostly, hey, I went to TrotCon. Also, Columbus Zoo was pretty big and awesome. Didn't even get to go to the water park there. But yeah, TrotCon was fun, and also, so like I said, I think I mentioned, surprisingly lewd at times.
Not surprised there.
Oh, the best cosplay I've seen was like the one guy from the gosh, what's the one Owl House? The Owl.
Huh.
Hootie.
Owl House.
Someone was doing a Hootie. Someone was doing a Hootie cosplay, which is like, oh, that was my favorite cosplay spring day. But yeah, it was a fun, interesting con, which definitely a different atmosphere from BronyCon.
Yeah.
And then let me see. As for news things, just quickly go with those. One is Disney continues the tradition of not having the main actor for a famous character return for the next one, which was sort of known with Tim Allen not coming back for Buzz Lightyear,
Right.
Johnny Depp not coming back for the new Pirates of the Caribbean, and
Yeah.
now apparently there will be no Nicolas Cage in the next National Treasure movie.
No.
You're gonna try National Treasure again?
Yeah.
Okay, your bad
Without
ideas
Nicolas
didn't
Cage.
start with no Nicolas Cage. They started with National Treasure 3.
No, this is not gonna go anywhere. This is DOA.
I mean, like, full disclosure, I'm someone who says the first movie is fine. Like, okay, huge conspiracy for the founding fathers. They hid a treasure in America, but it's implausible. Yeah, no doy. But okay, if the founding fathers actually had a giant treasure that they and Illuminati conspiracy things were real, sure, it probably could have happened. 2, even with all of that allowance, is ridiculous. Like, oh, by the way, there's another huge hidden treasure in America. And, oh, by the way, it involves America's other most famous era and president.
Which one was that?
Oh, Abraham Lincoln, of course. We had a George Washington one. Now we have to have an Abraham Lincoln one.
Of course. And then they're gonna do a 3. And let me guess, they're gonna do a 3 and 4, where they're gonna have Edison. Wait. No, Jefferson, and then Roosevelt, and then before you know it, to culminate in Mount Rushmore is an alien site. I swear.
No, they already used Rushmore. Spoilers for part 2.
And then they're gonna find out it Rushmore is like a set for an alien spaceship.
No, Jen, like I said, spoilers, they already used Rushmore in part 2.
Ah, poo. There goes that idea. But at the same time, good thing. Nope, no, they already used Rushmore. Can't think of anything else. But I would wonder, like, how would they tie in like Roosevelt? Because if they gotta do Washington, they gotta do Lincoln. You gotta have Roosevelt. Any other Roosevelt?
I don't know. Roosevelt. I mean, as epic rap battles of history put it, if Rushmore was a band, then Roosevelt would play bass.
I could see it.
I don't really know because like he's like arguably the best president in the U.S. history.
Franklin Roosevelt is not on Mount Rushmore. Teddy Roosevelt is.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong.
I never
Teddy
said
Roosevelt
Franklin Roosevelt. I said
what?
I never said Franklin Roosevelt. I was talking about Teddy Roosevelt, but he's the one that's
you
on
think Teddy
Rushmore.
Roosevelt is one of the greatest president? Is possibly the greatest president of all time?
Yeah.
I mean, Teddy Roosevelt, don't get me wrong, was a pretty damn good president. He's kind of the founder of modern liberalism, or at least one of the most influential figures there. He was a monopoly buster. He was the trust buster. I don't have my terms straight enough to go for that.
Like Trust and Buster. Yeah, Trust Buster also worked with Monopoly. He also set up like national parks. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was influential in ending what they called the Gilded Age. Was it J.P. Morgan he straight up beat in his own game, like with his, hey dude, you have an undeniable monopoly, I'm breaking it up. J.P. Morgan said, you can't do that, I have the president in my back pocket. Well, I am the president, and your pockets are looking a little occupied by the size of your butt for my taste, so. And Morgan said, well, that's okay, because I also have the Supreme Court in my back pocket. And Roosevelt said, well, maybe, but I'm scary. So let's see what your Supreme Court thinks of me when I tell them that I will broadcast all over the U.S. that they are afraid of you if they side against you here. And the result, 5-4 for Roosevelt.
Wow.
So yeah, he was a pretty damn good president, but I mean, like, as far as why historians don't usually put him right at the top, I was under the impression that it wasn't so much what he lacks as what the other ones have. That Lincoln, Washington, the other Roosevelt, and Jefferson too.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's usually top 5, but yeah, just like leading the U.S. successfully through pretty darn tumultuous times.
Yeah.
And that would be arguably the more the times than the person, though, besides Jefferson.
Yeah.
Jefferson's the base of, like, if there's a band, he's the base, like, of the Rushmore.
Jefferson's the base.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would want to get in your face. The writer of the Declaration of Independence, who was Washington too, after they got rid of that guy in between who only won in the first place by a fluke. Like,
you mean Adams?
Yeah, actually, 'cause the funny thing is, like, as I study more, I mean, historical accomplishments, I guess Adams will always lose, but I'm starting to like Adams more and Jefferson less.
Fair enough.
But,
arguably, Jefferson's best thing he did was sort of accidental, or was like, to sort of offer, like, it's like, oh yeah, Napoleon, we want to buy New Orleans. Like, Napoleon, no, how about you buy all of like the Louisiana Purchase? It's like, okay.
All right, quick. Like, okay. The founding fathers, all the founding fathers, and you have a band. You have 1, 2, 3. Okay, founding fathers in a band. How many members in your band? That's
a very large band because the founding.
2. And who plays what?
Yeah, because the Founding Fathers is rather broad and like very large group compared to like Rushmore, which is only
All right,
four.
say let's pick any of the let's screw it. Let's open it up. Any of the US presidents from Revolutionary to now, how many people in your band, how many in your US president's band, who plays what? And go.
Starting from the bottom, pretty much like not counting Lincoln, all the guys from Fillmore to Johnson, they're the groupies.
I wasn't aware we were going doing that route, but okay.
Yeah. What else? Like
they're the ones who begged the band to sign their chests.
Yeah. I feel like Joe Biden's still in his audition, so we technically can't count him.
Yeah.
Oi.
Yeah.
Oi.
Hey.
21st century Republicans, they can be the luggage carriers.
Fair enough. They're the roadie.
Yeah. Okay, who's our Beatles court? Well, okay, we have our Rushmore. You just gotta slap, Franklin Roosevelt. Yeah, FDR in there.
Okay.
Who's the, undeniably great ones? Maybe JFK.
Oh, yeah. But who would play, what position would they have in the band? Like, say, if they stay on the stage and such, playing instruments.
Okay, well, Lincoln can be on lead vocals, because, people liked it when he spoke, and rightly so. Yeah, let's see, Washington can be on lead guitar.
Fair enough.
Okay, the drummer carrying the band on the shoulders, I don't know, should we give that one to Jefferson?
No, like I said, that's a Teddy thing, like percussion things.
Fair enough.
Either Teddy Roosevelt for bass or drums. I could see, either bass or drums. I see Jefferson for keyboard on keyboard or guitar for some reason.
That actually does fit. It's mostly because I associated him with Franklin and his whatever music thing he had.
Franklin can play the triangle.
No, like it's whatever like musical thing he invented.
Oh my! Oh, what did
it was like the glass thing, where like it was like spinning, spinning glasses. And,
what is it called? Oh no, I don't even know what it is. Shoot! Because I was wondering if they.
Yeah, I just pictured Thomas Edison. Thomas Jefferson, like doing that in the background.
Sure, that'll work. That could work. Someone needs to do this and then make this happen. Make all the founding fathers into a band like that. Now I'm thinking of a really hilarious art piece of Thomas Jefferson with a guitar. That'd be quite fun. Where did we get there? Where is this train going?
Yeah, that was that's all spun off of National Treasure, which is
because that's right.
It's off somewhere, and
it's going to be a National Treasure 3, and no Nicolas Cage. You can't have anything without Nicolas Cage. No, but who would they get to replace Cage?
Yeah, that's the thing, is because Nicolas Cage is sort of the perfect cast for that movie, because it's basically the National Treasure is basically Kitty's first Da Vinci Code sort of like conspiracy shit like movie. It's like the family equivalent of that, like a family friendly version of that. And Nicolas Cage just sort of brings that weird, wacky craziness that sort of fits the tone of the movie.
And Cage is just you can't take your eyes off Cage. It's Nicolas Cage. Come on.
But yeah, like
Cage.
Yeah, like Disney continues their tradition of taking off like lead actors of like properties and moving on with other stuff for reasons.
Yeah. What's
The
so,
next
go ahead.
the next news subject is, well, since Carlos is gone and second is muted, and yeah, I know you don't know this game, but the other news thing was like the Last of Us remake, Last of Us Part 1, which is a remake, was leaked, and it basically confirmed it's basically more or less a graphics mod of the original. Oh, Carlos comes back.
Oh, Carlos is back. You mean they're remaking Last of Us?
Yeah.
Why?
Carlos, you back?
Is he back?
All right. But so you actually have heard of it, Jen?
No, I just heard of it just now. I've heard of The Last of Us. I just didn't know they were
Yeah.
they were remaking it. I was like, why?
Yeah, this September, they're basically making it Last of Us 1 and the Last of Us 2 engine
Oh,
for the PS5, and it's like what the leak basically showed is like there's absolutely pretty much no gameplay changes. It's just the original game, but like with better animations for $70.
no. It does.
Yeah.
Last of Us doesn't need it. It's already amazing. It doesn't need anything else.
Well, it already got essentially ported to the PS4 and like remastered there, which is like that's what the controversy is about. That like first of all, like this thing's being remade again, and two, it's being sold for $70, like the price of a brand new game, more than what the original game cost.
That's a fat no for me, dog.
And that's just sort of the big controversy of the leak. That's the big controversy of the leak, is it basically confirmed that they're not adding the like Last of Us 2's gameplay, which is improved. No, it's just the original gameplay, just like looks prettier.
No. There's no way you can make Last of Us look any prettier. It's masterful in its environments and everything. It's already gorgeous in its environments. You don't need to fiddle with perfection.
You're trying to say something, Carlos?
I was trying to say was it's just a lazy like update that doesn't even need to get updated. Just should have just been a port. I mean, game's great as it is already for people who like it. Don't waste resources just to make it match the second game. I mean, this is not like Xenoblade 1 in which like, oh look, it gets an extended release after having like another port to a portable console and then its original one for the Wii. Yeah, because that one makes more sense because of how outdated the graphics were on the Wii for Xenoblade 1. For some comparison sakes, for like why certain remakes should be made or not.
Yeah, and like but it's like a thing. Is like it's just like no one feels it's just. It's like and people say like, oh, but like Demon Souls got remade. Like it was, but Demon Souls was like an early PS3 game that was trapped on there that never got any sort of port outside of that, and was painstakingly remade for the PS5 by another company.
Wow.
Oh, the wide world of games.
Oh, the wild, wacky world.
Don't worry, second. You'll be able to see the HBO show soon enough.
By the way,
that's not a joke. There is an HBO show coming.
Jeez. Actually, speaking of games, there's if you like offbeat YouTube channels, apparently we're getting a surge of nostalgia for the era Michael Jordan played in, because there's a lot of how good was he and all of his prime competitors actually, and highlights reels and such, and honestly some of it's pretty interesting. Like Nonstop Sports, I think, is the channel that has the best ones, and like explain how good everyone was. Like Shaq, he in his greatest seasons, I think he played like he was perhaps a contender for the very greatest of all time, but he just didn't. He almost never came in at tip-top shape. It's like kind of did it his way, so whatever, good on him. But yeah, or highlights reels of Larry Bird leading the Boston Celtics to a double overtime game against Jordan and Pippen, and yeah, like as much as they are being Jordan and Pippen and slaying it, he's keeping right up and just refusing to relent on the idea that he's gonna win this game.
Yeah.
It's good stuff to watch.
Yeah, why not?
All right. But I guess to move on to the final news story, which is sort of leading into our probably going to be shorter topic. It's more of a question. Is like yeah, Comicon happened like this week. Like, speaking of comic conventions, last time the big one happened, and there were some news announcements.
The San Diego.
There was San Diego Comic-Con.
Ooh.
There was a whole bunch of smaller stories, but basically, speaking of Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones like prequel series. I got a trailer. I think they also got a new trailer for the Amazon's Lord of the Rings thing. Then there's also a Shazam and Black Adam trailer, which actually both are coming out this year, which is sort of weird, with the history behind those. And then also, like I was talking before this, we started recording, like Dragon Prince got a season 4 and some trailer stuff, and also an finally released, I don't think date, but release window. But yeah, that sort of brings me up to the news topic is like, Comic-Con sort of happened and we just sort of forgot about it. So
How go we forget about the big giant monolith that is San Diego Comic-Con?
But that's sort of the thing, like, it wasn't really just us, a lot of people sort of had the same thing. It was like, oh yeah, Comic-Con happened. Which raises the question, is Comic-Con still relevant?
Yes.
I didn't know much about it in the first place.
Comic-Con is most definitely still relevant because that is the link to Hollywood. That's the link to nerddom, geekdom, freakdom, and that's from nerddom, geekdom, freakdom into Hollywood. Where nerds, geeks, and freaks of all sizes, shapes, and colors, and creeds, and walks of life can somehow get a teeny sliver into Hollywood if they're even lucky.
But that's sort of also one of the things, like, be specific. I'm not talking about Comic-Con necessarily the convention, but like sort of what it represented in the media. Because before like 2020, Comic-Con was like one of the biggest media events of the year. It's become, like, some of the biggest trailers of like the year are dropping like back to back on Comic-Con. There was E3 like shows, like what E3 did to games. Comic-Con was sort of becoming that for movies, and that was sort of helped by Marvel's rise and DC's trying to counter them.
And
everyone else sort of jumped.
The celebrities would actually go there, and you'd actually get the chance to maybe see them at a panel.
But the thing is, like, I feel Comic-Con will still be the big convention of the year, but like it seems like the media's presence is a lot more downplayed after COVID. And I think that's the reason. I think like part of it's because COVID happened and we're still adjusting that, but also I feel like the decentralization of like media, like from COVID, where basically everything's streaming or everyone's releasing their trailers on their like YouTube or like through their own apps and all that. Where I feel that made Comic-Con is like this central thing, sort of like how E3 was a central thing, and people were starting to leave because they could just do their game trailers out elsewhere. I feel it almost feels like because of COVID, the same happened to Comic-Con, where like Comic-Con's going back to what it used to be before, say the mid 2000s or so, where like basically when Disney started doing their Marvel stuff is right around when Comic-Con became like, oh yeah, this is the big comic convention, to like, oh yeah, this is a big media convention.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I would say yeah, it still is kind of relevant, but I think the media is, well, I don't know. I think for some reason the media is like distracted and like distracted in like millions of different directions. But also, we don't know what networks so, I think you may be right, Ninja, about the whole about now. Almost anything can be live streamed to these days. So you could probably like have like live streams at conventions, but also you don't know where to find the live streams.
Yeah, I think actually ChalkCon I know did like for Discord they had a lot of their panels streamed. I think the only thing they didn't stream is like for as big as the adult and after adult vendors and also the adult panels and all that are ChalkCon, they're they're very strict about not recording or any information about them, which I sort of find funny. It's like, yeah, that's like everyone knows about this. Trying to sort of hide it is just sort of hilarious.
Yeah, but you never know what can be used against someone, or maybe there's this whole level of privacy or whatever. You never know what someone could use against you. Or hey, you probably some of those people probably wouldn't want their employers finding out. Like if they for some reason they're friends with their coworkers or bosses on Facebook, and if for some reason someone's dumb to put whatever goes on in those panels on their wall, could be, I don't know, could be consequences, like, whether it be like work, professional, or hell, even family sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it, but I still think it's sort of funny how it is trying to hide it. But yeah, if I was just trying to bring up like overall, yeah, cons do stream stuff now. Like that was this Discord was like the way that TrotCon was doing theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, honestly, if it is still manages to hang it, if it has the Jenn seal of approval, maybe I should try to take Daylover there.
To San Diego Comicon?
Yeah, maybe at some point.
You know what? You know what? I would not recommend it. See, how does Day do in crowds?
She's a social creature, actually. She is, capable of getting overwhelmed, but I mean, like, she wants to go to a big event. I mean,
right.
So far as I've seen, she wants it to be a big event.
Well, you don't get any more bigger than San Diego Comic-Con. The one thing I think is like because it is so large,
mm-hmm.
It's like the con to I always say it is the con to end all cons, really. It is so large. I've made a vow to myself, like I said to myself, I probably will never ever go to San Diego Comic-Con, and I'm fine with that because it seems too large for my taste. Now, would I want to see San Diego? Yes. Would I want to go to San Diego Comic-Con? I don't think so. It seems a little too large. You'd be doing a hell of a lot of walking, a hell of a lot of standing in line. There'd be a hell of a lot of people, and
okay.
I don't know.
Give you reference, like second, like when it's not COVID times, like this con sells out like almost instantly within hours.
Yes.
And this has like 100,000 people will attend.
And another thing, because it's
streaming is the way to go.
Yes, and another thing, because it's so busy, and also prices. I can't look at how much a price a ticket would be, and as you said, Ninja, the sellout, they sell out like seconds.
Mm.
But yeah, so streaming.
Question.
You better with finding a way to stream it.
Noted.
Question, Jen?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering, like, what about for New York Comic Con then?
Oh yeah, you know what? It seems like a lot of states will have, and cities, they have their own local Comic Cons. By all means, go for those.
Hey, no, I mean like New York Comic Con as in New York City.
Oh yeah, Cincinnati has its own Comic Con too. I haven't been to that one yet, but I've been wanting to go there for quite some time.
I gotcha. Well, I mean, like, I know San Diego is like the premier one, but isn't New York the second premier one? would you recommend
Well, I
going
mean,
for that one?
I think New York is the only like official other Comic-Con from the Comic-Con people.
Right.
Other places have used Comic-Con name. Like I think New York is like the second actual like affiliated with Comic-Con's the company or the company who owns Comic-Con.
Right.
Well, I like to say like the way I like to look at it is basically San Diego Comic-Con is a big one and sort of is very movie focused, while like
Yes.
New York Comic Con is more like show focused, especially when it comes to animation.
Second.
So then I'm thankful that I actually live close to New York Comic Con. Heck
Yeah.
We go to the usual theater in like the little display location that's within like 40 minutes from my location. That's how easy it is to get over there. There was also one other thing I was wondering. Like, there was one thing from like Comic-Con I found from like Facebook that happened this year. There was apparently like a life-size version of Great Ape Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. At the
Really?
museum.
Really?
And I'm like, oh my god. I would kill to see that so bad. Like one of the rarest occasions of like seeing Vegeta as a full-blown villain. That was the biggest exciting moment there. And to deal with something like that. Kind of makes me wish like there was another Saiyan who was like that, but like even more comparable with like Super Saiyan power-ups, you know?
Yeah.
That would be insane to deal with. Like a giant kaiju, but super sentient, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I know it would be repeating like the greatness from the Saiyan saga, but I mean, I think we've had enough years to maybe do one more, you know?
Oh.
Yeah, that's just how I feel about this thing.
Yeah, I get you.
But yeah, like I was saying, like I feel like both Comic Cons are not like they're not going away and all that because they're just too big and like conventions, if anything, before COVID were actually seem to be growing a lot as a whole. Like every city was sort of like getting a con or two. But like I feel like I said, just specifically the media side of it just feels like it's going to be going less because well, I think it was part of it, like its rise in media importance was just sort of at the rise of Disney Marvel. It sort of coincided with that, and then I feel COVID sort of disrupted that, and also sort of in general fatigue from Marvel fatigue, like as Thor is sort of feeling right now.
Mm.
Or was it underperforming?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, those are sort of the main topic I just wanted to go through and discuss. Any other final thoughts before we sort of head off?
Yeah, about San Diego Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Was this part of it, or was the topic about the Wakanda Forever trailer in your notes or whatever, or was that under the Comic-Con thing?
No, I didn't actually have that in my notes.
Oh, never mind.
Is that the video game I hear that was supposed to be leaked or?
No, they put out the trailer for the next movie. It looks like.
Yeah, the next Black Panther movie. It's now going to be called Wakanda Forever, and it's an actual real trailer.
All right. Yeah, because I remember hearing about like rumors of a leaked Black Panther game. I was like, I thought that was what it was about.
No, it's
but
like a movie to me.
Yeah, that movie's gonna have some interesting like. Yeah, with what happened to the main actor, that's gonna have like it's gonna be a weird like hard like it's gonna have its work cut out for it.
Oh, totally.
Like,
the thing is that they are They're in the
Especially with like no
trailer. In
characters.
the trailer,
like that.
you do see a brief kind of a salute to Chadwick Boseman. You do see a little brief salute of him, and I can't gather what the story is going to be about, but I think that's kind of a good thing, because way too many. One trend I'm noticing, especially on Netflix trailers, it seems they're revealing too much of the story in the trailer. It's like, you already can guess what the story is through the trailer alone. And with Wakanda Forever, I can't guess what the story is.
I actually still have to watch the trailer. I've been dragging my feet on that.
Watch the trailer.
But
It's actually
yeah.
pretty.
I did see the Hocus Pocus trailer, which
I can't believe that's actually real. I'm excited and I'm terrified at the same time. I'm like, please let this be good. Please let this be good.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna hear more stuff about versions.
yeah, it's weirdly I don't know. It's like they combined plots a bit. What would bring the witches back? Hey, how about Teen Witch, or the various other references you could glean from that?
All I'm thinking is myself, like, please let this be good. Let this somehow be good.
Sure. I mean, it's like the first one, whether that's even quote unquote good, like
it's more than the first is more than good. It's hilarious. It is also an experience as well.
I mean, like, it's dumb, it's crass, it's delightful, it's funny, it's not like it's scary and not scary at the same time. Like,
I don't think it's meant to be. That's the thing. I don't think it's meant to be scary. It's not. It's like it's a quote scary movie that doesn't take itself seriously. It's on the freaking Disney Channel. It's a family special movie.
yes, and at the same time, kind of no. It's real drenched in that not just Halloween atmosphere. Like, we're not watching Halloween Town here. Like, these three.
We're watching the Salem, Massachusetts, Salem witch plots and everything.
Yeah, and these three weirdly feel like, witches that could have happened back when that was going on. Like, the first scene is them sucking the life out of a little girl, which is...
That is true, yeah.
Yeah, like, that got my attention, honestly. The fact that, I always thought it was Zachary Binks. No, apparently I wasn't. I was taking that TH sound too lightly, but I was always struck by how Thackeray Binks straight up fails is the first scene. He loses his sister and gets catified for daring to stand up to them.
Twist the boat and bend the back.
Yeah, that particular scene is actually kind of intense, as he's just like sitting there knowing that he can't do anything about what's about to happen to him, and is there building it up, saying all of these like nasty things that you're not entirely sure what they mean by them, and like
right. And he of course is rejected by his family because naturally, black cats. He's not only made into a cat, he's made into a black cat, and that's the superstitious is black cats are bad luck. So now he pretty much loses his not his life, but he pretty much loses his family and his humanity all in a few seconds. And of course, there's the whole darkness of like these witches are literally luring children to kill them, to suck up their souls so they can stay young and beautiful.
Yeah, and then I guess when it transitions to the future stuff, like the get under your skin a little bit stuff, mostly goes by the wayside. It settles into that more like, okay, I mean, technically they want to suck the lives out of children, but it's like it's Addams Family dark almost. Like it's it's like it's fun dark, and I mean, and they're you even like them because I mean, how much do they even know what they're saying as they do it? Winifred seems like Bette Midler seems like the only one who even is like, fully aware of the fact that she's evil. Like
they also like have this comedic. All three characters they have also this almost like Three Stooges kind of style to them, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, there's that. I mean, honestly, that's kind of true. They have like a weirdo, a leader, and a doofus, a leader, and a middle one who's kind of
the leader,
the wimp, and the eccentric one.
They have the leader, they have the ditz, and I hate to say it, but the leader, the ditz, and the
whipping girl.
But it's more fun seeing Sarah get whipped than Kathy Najimy's character.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like how Curly works. It's just like Mo hits him because it's like the only way you can keep a leash on him. But Larry, like Mo, they're actually communicating when Mo is hitting him.
And pretty much like when you can almost hear like one of them go whoop 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 at some point.
Sure.
It's very like slapstick almost. It's quite fun. You take a dark matter like the Salem witch trials and just make them funny.
Yeah, and obsessing over a kid's virginity, and the cat is immortal, even though that's what the witches are trying to accomplish, and the zombie who ostensibly moves the plot forward, but at the same time has very little to do with things. And I mean, it's like, it's a movie that you sign an agreement before enjoying. You sign an agreement of, okay, I am not going to care too much about any of these things.
Yeah, it's those ones that just turn your brain off and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy it like every Halloween. I whenever I want to laugh, Hocus, I watch Hocus Pocus, and also I love Bette Midler. I absolutely just love her. One of my favorite actresses of all time.
Yeah. But like with that said, I feel like what people are going to have in mind with is this a quote unquote good movie is the more common and especially today's definition of a good movie. Like I think back then, like what's nostalgic now was what's like solidified into nostalgia might have been a little tacky at the time. At least some of it, the guy wants to win the girl plot and whatnot. And I mean, the fact that that's in the movie, it's like, okay, what does it even matter at this point? But like today, okay, what are modern tacky-isms? I mean, like, are people going to be just as hard on today's version of those in the sequel now as critics and not even some audiences were on the original in the 90s?
Oh, yes. That I think 1,000% yes. They will be harder. They will be harder on this.
Yeah.
Because of how much the first meant to a lot of people, because a lot of them probably saw and revered the first, and they're gonna see how it holds up to. They're gonna see the biggest thing of all, how does it hold up to against the first? They're gonna rip it apart. They're gonna pretty much tick everything and be like, does this hold up to the first? Every single thing that they're gonna see, does it hold up to the first? And do I think is it going to? No, I don't think so. But it's not a bad thing. I don't think it's meant to be, but also because so much time has passed in between it. There's now a whole new in between it. So now there's I just hope they don't try and bring Hocus Pocus to do whatever it is that to bring in a whole new legion of fans and such. I don't know. I truly don't know what can be done. I was actually one of those that was kind of against Hocus Pocus too. I was like, no, just leave it alone. It's great as it is. Leave it alone. What other story can you tell with the Sanderson sisters? Also, in the fact, like, how are you going to bring them back?
Yeah.
Why would you bring them back? Other than they're funny and they're awesome and they're fabulous. Why? What? How is this going to work?
Just what? Yeah.
Just what? Thank you very much. Just what? Who, what, where, when, why, what, and how?
Mm-hmm.
Is that, if that can answer like all those questions pretty much.
Yeah.
But also part of me is like kind of hoping like you're not going to do another version of I put a spell on you, or you're not going to do another brand new music thing.
Well, they gotta have music. It was part of the first one.
With that. Yeah, with that one scene, with that one scene in the trailer where one says, "Are you ladies looking for the stage?" and Winifred says, "Always." I'll admit that's a cool scene. So naturally there probably will be another music scene, but I'm like, well, they got a lot to hold up to with the first with their version of I put a spell on you. So what can you do with this second one? But again, it goes back to what you said. It's one big giant what?
Yeah.
All right. But with that said, I guess we should be heading out for tonight. And like I think I mentioned before, I can't wait to see y'all next time, or knock on wood, because we need actual like releases and all that. We'll be doing a reaction to Hell of a Boss season 2, episode 1.
Knock on wood.
Baby better knock on wood. Baby better knock on wood.
Knock.
Knock.
Who's there?
I guess see y'all next time.
Bye.
Mm-hmm. Take care.
Knock on wood.
Good night, so long as you say goodbye.